Good morning, everyone. My name is Oz, also known as the Speedrunning Hobo. And on this video, I'm going to teach you how to speedrun Fallout 4 Glitchless Very Easy mode. Now, this is going to be a very lengthy, step-by-step instructional video. So it's going to be fairly long. So what I'm going to do is down in the description, I'm going to put timestamps of each section of this video so you can just skip to the parts that you need to learn instead of watching this entire video. Because my test video I made yesterday was actually longer than the speedrun itself, and the speedrun is about an hour and 20 minutes. So that being said, let's just cut right to the chase. Alright, before we even start speedrunning this game, we're going to need some resources and programs. First thing that you're going to need, obviously, is the game Fallout 4. Get that. After we've gotten the game Fallout 4, we're going to go to speedrun.com and go to the Fallout 4 section and click on this Resources tab. In Resources, we're going to click on PipBoy App, APK 1.2, and it should automatically download. The next thing we're going to do is click on All Voice Files, and it will bring us to this page. We only need to download French for this. We don't need any of these other languages. And optionally, if you want a down patch, we can go to version 1.1.3, but one that is not necessary for glitchless. It's only really necessary in any percent. And two, it doesn't really help. There's only two things that it does. One, it allows us to pickpocket ammo to make shopping easier, but not necessarily faster. And two, it allows us to reload by swapping weapons instead of timing our reloads like we normally would. So that's kind of optional whether you want to do it or not. One reason not to do it is because there's a glitch called a cover slide, and it is very easy to accidentally do, and it can warp you to the other side of the map and even kill you in some spots. And it does happen on one particular part of the run very often, and it is very late in the run. It's almost near the ending, so take it with a grain of salt. That is up to you, but I'm going to still show you how to down patch anyway. We're going to need some programs. In order to be able to run PipBoy App APK, we are going to need to download an emulator. We have all agreed that Nox Player is the best emulator for this. With BlueStacks, I've noticed, has the most crashes and the most latency times. You can use any emulator you want, but I highly suggest getting Nox Player above all others. You download it, install it just like you download and install any other program. And you're also going to need a program called LiveSplit. LiveSplit is what we were going to use to time the game, and it also has a load remover, so that way it removes load times from your game and only times the game time, helping you stay competitive. Okay, now that we have downloaded all of our resources that we need to set Fallout 4 up in order to be ready to speedrun. If you do plan on down patching, I do suggest making sure that Steam doesn't automatically update your game. You can do that by pressing or right-clicking Fallout 4, go to Properties, go to Updates, and make sure it says only update this game when I launch it and never allow background downloads. I found that this is sufficient enough to make sure that Steam does not update your game, but if you're still having problems with Steam updating, you can always just click Go Offline and stay in offline mode so it will never check for updates. The next thing that we need to do is make sure that our FPS counter is shown on screen. This is a rule for Fallout 4 to show that we are limiting it to 60 frames per second. You can use a third-party app to do this, but I just like to use Steam because it is already here and it is efficient. So we go to Settings, go to In-Game, make sure that Enable the Steam Overlay while in-game is checked. And on the in-game FPS counter, you can choose any of these four. It doesn't matter, just make sure that your LiveSplit timer and your PipBoy app are not covering up the FPS display at all. Now we're going to limit our FPS. You can use a third-party FPS limiter, but if you're like me and you have an NVIDIA graphics card, we're just going to right-click and go to NVIDIA Control Panel, go to Manage 3D Settings, go to Program Settings, and make sure that Fallout 4 is selected. And we're going to go down to Max Frame Rate, click on that, make sure that this says, change this to 60, press OK, and then we're going to press apply, and that will limit our frame rate to 60. Now we're going to change our game to be in French because French is faster. If you want it to be in English, you can do it in English, but just know that it is at least 30 seconds slower to play in English. In order to do that, we're going to extract our French folder first. You do have to extract it. You can't just open it up. After you've extracted it, we're going to just copy this file right here, voices_FR, and we're going to go into our Fallout 4 folder in Steam. Now, under Program Files, Steam Apps, Common Fallout 4, we're going to go into our Data folder, and all the way down, you're going to see voices.ba2. Now, I renamed voices.ba2 to voices_eng because now I can switch back and forth between French and English just by renaming a file. If you rename it to this, the game will not use this English file at all. It'll just be there for your convenience. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste that Fallout 4 French file that we just saw, or that we just copied, and on BA2 we're either going to delete or rename that, and then we're going to press F2 in order to rename the French file, and we're going to just delete /FR and press enter, and now the game is going to be in French. So now if you feel like down patching the game, what we're going to do is basically do the exact same thing that we just did with our French folder. What I do suggest is if you're like me and you have slow internet and you like going from a down patch version to the normal version and you have the space on your hard drive, I suggest copying these folders or these files in this folder right here and putting it onto another folder for later use, so you can just copy and paste later instead of having to re-download the entire game. This just makes it faster and convenient, but if you have super fast internet and a small hard drive, you don't have to do this. But what we're going to do is we're going to extract Fallout 4 version 1.1.3, and after extracting it, we're just going to highlight all of these, and then we're going to copy, and not in our data folder, but in our Fallout 4 folder, all we're going to do is paste everything that we just copied and click replace the files in this destination. Now we are on a down patch version. Again, this is completely optional. I'm just showing you how to do it. Okay, so we now need to go to Documents, My Games, and Fallout 4 because we need to change some of our configuration settings. We're going to click on Fallout 4, and under General, we're going to add this line, be always active equals 1, and under Display, we're going to do I present interval equals 0. You're either going to add this line, or if this line is already there, we're going to change the 1 to a 0, and we're going to close and save it. Now we're going to open a Fallout 4 Preferences, and under I present interval, we can also change that to 0. This is if you have a third-party FPS limiter and you didn't do what I did in NVIDIA settings. This helps with better performance of gameplay, but you don't actually need to do this if you did not use a third-party FPS limiter. But in here, what I'm going to focus on is this eye size height and eye size width. Now, when you first open up the game, it's going to try to detect your hardware settings, and it's going to automatically set it for you, and if you have a newer graphics card, it's not going to be able to detect it at all until in Fallout 4's newer update that's coming later this year. So we're going to go into Options and make sure that Windowed and Borderless mode are selected. And under Resolutions, you're probably not going to have this resolution right here, so we're just going to ignore that completely, and you can put the detail to whatever you like. That doesn't matter, but just make sure that windowed and borderless mode are selected. Now we're going to go to our display settings. If you don't know what your display resolution is, it will say it right here, 1920 1080. So under width, you're going to put 1920 or whatever you have here, and under height, you're going to put 1080 or whatever is whatever number is right here. And after you do that, you're going to scale this to 100% because it's probably going to be sitting at 125%, which is the default. But if you have it at 25% and you resize this, that's going to be too big. All right, now let's set up Fallout 4 inside of the actual game. What we're going to do is we're going to open it up, and we want to go to settings. On gameplay, make sure that it says very easy. Obviously, you can play on any of these other ones, but it's just going to, not be as fast because obviously. But we're going to go down, and on our PipBoy app enabled, we're going to make sure that's on. If it was off and you want to turn it back to on, in order for you to enable the PipBoy app, you are going to have to quit back into desktop and restart the game. Now back into settings for display, I do highly suggest turning the dialog camera off so we can position our character in certain places and make the dialogue faster. Also in settings, you can do this or not, but under controls, I find that while I'm speedrunning on mouse and keyboard, I accidentally press cap locks way too often. And cap locks makes you walk instead of run. So on toggle always run, I do suggest changing this from cap locks to something you're not going to touch. I did P because it's all the way on the other side of the keyboard. Again, that is optional for you. And last but not least, this doesn't matter if you have a 60 hertz screen, but if you have a higher refresh rate screen, I suggest going into your display settings and going to advanced display and changing your refresh rate to 60 hertz, because Fallout 4 does not like high refresh rates while playing. And even with my 300 hertz monitor, not only doesn't it like it, but it will show up as a black screen and all I will get is sound. On my old 240 monitor, I actually got less FPS while playing the game in a high refresh rate, and I believe 120 is acceptable, but it does work the best in 60 hertz. So I suggest changing that as well. Now that we've set up the game, we need to install our Fallout 4 PipBoy app and get it ready. In order to do that, we're going to install and open Nox Player, and to install the Fallout 4 PipBoy app, literally all you have to do is just click and then drag it over here, and it will automatically install it for you. After you installed it, you're going to open it up. And for your first time opening it, you're going to see connection setup. If you get a pop-up asking you to let it go through the firewall, or the internet option thing that pops up for Windows, accept that and let it, because it needs access to the internet, because that's how it's going to connect to the game. The platform we're going to select is going to be PC. It's going to scan for devices. Now it won't find it unless Fallout 4 is open. So in order to do this, we're going to open Fallout 4 first, and then we're going to refresh. It'll scan for devices, and you're going to see your PC. We're going to click on that, and connection success. If you see PipBoy app unavailable, no game loaded, you have successfully installed the PipBoy app. Now inside of our PipBoy app, we can start adding a few controls that we want. So we're going to have to load a game where we have the PipBoy already started, where we've already gotten the PipBoy from the vault. Otherwise, this won't work and it'll be a lot harder for you. Now, when you do this, I do like to go into maps, and one thing that I really like doing is just opening up this screen that says to fast travel to selected location, and we're going to go and press this button right here with the keyboard, and inside of here, I like a single click. We're going to add one of these, and just kind of hover over the yes button and make that be whatever you want it to be, and then click save. And then this way, when you press E on the map, it will select yes for you. And since you have that E sitting right there, let's just say I want to fast travel to the Institute, all I have to do is just spam E and I will fast travel to the Institute. This makes it a lot easier than opening and pressing it with the button. But again, this is preferences, but it does make it a lot faster to use your PipBoy app. Of course, you can customize these hotkeys to anywhere that you want to, but this is the one that I find is the most useful. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we've downloaded and installed LiveSplit. We're going to open it up. We're going to press right click and we're going to click Edit Splits. Under game name, we're going to do Fallout 4. And I do highly suggest clicking this drop-down menu and actually selecting Fallout 4 from the drop-down menu, because I've noticed sometimes if this doesn't show games down here and you don't actually select it, the game name isn't actually under Fallout 4. We just named the game Fallout 4 and the load remover doesn't work. Now you can see load removal is available, and if this says deactivates, then your load remover is activated. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start the timer at minus 3.5 seconds. That is because we can start the timer at the same time that we press enter when starting the game, but we don't gain character control until 3.5 seconds later, and that's when the game officially starts. So doing this makes it a lot easier for both you and the mods who are trying to verify the times on this game. After we're done with that, we're going to right click, and under compare against, we're going to change real time to game time. If you compare against real time, the LiveSplit load remover won't actually show up on your timer. You need to compare against game time in order to have the load remover effectively work. And now for the video that you have all been waiting or skipped ahead in order to watch is the gameplay. Now I have added a keyboard on screen that is obnoxiously large so you can see what keys I'm pressing as I am instructing you what to do on this game. So when we start off this game, I am going to show you in French dialogue of an audio cue on when to start the game to get the best time starting off. Now this audio cue is going to be listening to the song in the background, and the song is gonna be "It's All Over But the Crying." Now, when he sings the lyric "Nobody's crying but me," there are 4 piano notes directly after it. After the first 2 piano notes, that is when we start the game and we start our timer, because Codsworth is going to be directly where we need him to be. And the first thing that we have to do is talk to Codsworth as quickly as humanly possible. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now that is when we start, and we're going to walk up and we are going to talk to Codsworth immediately. And after talking to Codsworth, we are going to position ourselves right between these chairs right here. And optionally, we're going to read this newspaper, and I'll tell you why in a second. Because we're going to point the green dot on the center right between these 2 legs of the grill that is outside, and we're going to spam E in order to talk to Codsworth as fast as possible, and then we're going to move over and talk to Nora really quickly as well. The thing is, if you're trying to do this fast while spamming E, I've noticed sometimes you go over this newspaper before talking to Nora, and if you actually read this newspaper, then you're not able to talk to Nora until after you're done reading the newspaper. So sometimes reading the newspaper first just really helps. If you did everything correctly, he is going to ring the doorbell at exactly 1 minute and 11 seconds.
Bonjour.
Now, after spamming down in order to skip all of this dialogue, we're going to be presented with this registration form. We're going to name ourselves R because in order to close the registration form, we're going to have to press R anyway. So we just press R, enter R, and then we're going to go down and give ourselves 10 endurance, then 10 agility, and after that we can do luck and intelligence, but all you do is hold the right one and then either choose intelligence or luck in order to spam the rest of our points that we have available onto whichever. It really doesn't matter either way, it's up to you. Then we press R to accept. We're going to close the door and immediately talk to Nora. After talking to Nora, we're going to go directly down the hallway and we're going to position ourselves right here into this corner. The reason why that we stay into this corner is because we have to talk to Codsworth and then click on the crib, and it's a lot easier to have our mouse pointed, or our screen pointed right here on Codsworth and just like drop down a little bit and then click on the crib. We talk to Codsworth only directly after Codsworth actually starts talking.
Monsieur.
Hey, Codsworth.
If you talk to him before he starts talking, then you will not get Nora to start talking. If Nora doesn't start talking immediately, you know you did it wrong. After Nora tells you to spin the mobile, he loves it. We're going to point directly in the middle of this square of this tile because we're going to be panning directly to look at her tits anyway. And we're going to spam the down button in order to get rid of her dialogue. Now we're going to walk directly forward into this door while spamming E to open the door and get down the hallway as fast as possible in order to make Nora shut up as quickly as possible. The faster Nora shuts up, the faster we can get out the door. We're going to position ourselves right here, but don't walk directly up onto this umbrella right here. Bring yourself back just a tiny bit because you can get caught up on that umbrella when you're trying to actually get out the door. After the door opens, we're going to do exactly what my father did and run away from our family as fast as possible. We're going to jump over this fence and come over here, and then we're going to jump over this next fence. If you have an issue jumping over this fence, let me show you a little bit of a trick. I use this patch of grass kind of as a reference point, and if you notice there's a bit of a hill right here, and that gives you just enough elevation, and when you get on top of that hill, you're going to go almost parallel with the fence. You're going to turn left and go almost parallel with the fence, and that should get you over. And you're going to keep spamming the jump button just in case you get stuck between the fence and the bushes. When we come here, we actually kind of want to we're going to run past these trees, but you want to almost jiggle your mouse a little bit as you run through those trees, or else you're going to get caught up in those trees just a little bit. And we don't want to be running when we actually approach this guard. We want to be walking. So about where this girl with this dress is right here, we're going to press shift to start walking, and then we're going to start spamming E directly on the guard like this. And hopefully if we spam it enough, we can actually get in before he talks to us, but that's also pretty much RNG. And when we go running to the vault, I want you to keep an eye on this little almost triangle shape, because that's what we're going to use in order to not have to jump over that ledge in order to get directly into the vault. Once we have made our way inside of the vault, we are just going to go and grab our vault jumpsuit by jumping up and walking down this railing and over here, and we're just going to spam E on there so we can see Vault 111 jumpsuit added. Now, I do like to stay to the left here because the doctor sometimes gets caught up on Nora and won't actually follow you. And if you look down on the HUD, if you get past 14, 15, 16 and he's not following you, you can turn around while still in the hallway and it will help him run towards you for some reason. Now we're going to stand directly on this C7 square and wait for him to start talking to you. Once he talks to you, we're going to talk to him, and then we're going to click on the pod and enter the pod and wait for a 2-minute unskippable cutscene. After our divorce lawyer, who is also our babysitter, has dispatched of our problems, we are going to immediately turn right and go through these doors. And we're going to first pick up a weapon that's a baton, because the baton gives us a lot more reach in order to kill these stupid rad roaches. Now we're going to press R and take out our hands before picking up the baton, and I will show you why. Is because if we don't pull our hands out first, there's this animation where we end up pulling the baton out like that. But if we have our hands out, there is no animation, so that kind of saves us about a second of actually pulling the baton out when picking it up. And if you're trying to run through and you accidentally don't pick this baton up as you're running through, don't worry, we can still go through this door, and we can go down and through this door, and there is another baton right here that we can also pick up. Now we have to kill every single rad roach that's in here, because for some reason we're not allowed to get out of the vault until every single one of them are dead. A nice little trick is to open these doors before actually killing the rad roaches, so while the doors are opening you can use the extra time. We're going to grab all of these stim packs, and we're going to go into this terminal without picking up anything else. Now when you go into this terminal, you're going to press E, and then you're going to hold the down button, preferably if you want to, because if you hold the down button as you're entering the terminal, it will go to the very last option. Same if you hold the up button on some of the terminals, we're going to do the same thing. Instead of using the mouse, whichever you find is quicker, I like doing it this way. So we press E, hold the down button, and then we can press E and tab to get out of there really quickly. Now as we jump over this table, we want to take our baton out and keep running, and we're going to kill all of these rad roaches that are in here. And if you're sly enough to do it properly, we can actually walk backwards, so that way we're at the door right after those rad roaches are killed. We are also going to kill these two rad roaches and pick up our PipBoy. After we exit our PipBoy, we are going to skip an animation by moving forward and directly to the right of these door controls, kind of like right here, so that way when we click on that, we don't actually have the animation of walking up to it, and that saves about a good 1 to 2 seconds right there. And now we're going to jump into the water, because if we get over here into the water, the elevator starts coming down before the door opens. We're going to grab this 10mm and this 10mm ammo, open this door, and we're going to go back and grab the gun, the ammo, and a bobby pin. So we're going to grab this gun, this ammo, and this center right here, there's a bobby pin that we can grab. And if we are fast enough, and you weren't like me and describing how to do it, you will be able to get to this vault door before it even opens. After it opens, we can just jump through, and then when we get here, we can also hold down again, and then press enter in order to quickly get out of the vault. Alright everyone, I want to take a really quick break to let you know that if you're going to probably hear a lot of wind in the background while I'm recording the rest of this video, because I'm recording it from inside of my truck. So if you do hear the background wind noise, I apologize for it, just ignore it. Anyway, let's get on with what we were doing. Now that we're out of the vault, there are 2 ways that we can get to Red Rocket. Right now I am only going to show you the official world record speedrun way, but I have also found another way that actually saves 7 seconds to get to Red Rocket, and there are also a lot more other strats that I have found that I have not used in a run, nor has anyone else used in their runs. But I will save those strategies for the end of the game and let you choose what you want to do. So currently, from here on out, I am only going to do the world record Fallout strats. We're going to go and grab ourselves some hand grenades. When we get to this bridge, inside of here is going to be 2 fragmentation grenades, and we're going to pick it up and keep going along. On the other side of the bridge, as we're running, we can spam E on this person in order to get the extra stim packs, and then run directly to Red Rocket. We want to run on the right side of this telephone pole, and that will spawn Dogmeat next to this door. Now we have to get Dogmeat in order to skip an animation when talking to Nick later, because Nick wants us to talk to Dogmeat and use Dogmeat in order to find Kellogg. You don't want to run up to Dogmeat for the reason that you're going to be out of breath, and sometimes when you're running up to him, you can't talk to him immediately, so press shift to stop running. It's the same as with the guard before. We're going to press shift to stop running, and then we're going to have our gun out, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk to him, immediately aim to skip our dialogue, and then press down in order to get Dogmeat. Now, mind you, every once in a while you're going to get this animation skip where you can talk to Dogmeat, and you hear the dialogue, but you're still able to walk around. If that happens, do not walk away from Dogmeat until Dogmeat starts whimpering. Once Dogmeat starts whimpering, you can run away. If you get too far away from Dogmeat before he starts whimpering, you actually don't meet him and you don't get him, and you lose the time of both talking to him and having the animation that you're trying to skip later. Now we're going to make our way down towards the Museum of Freedom, and we're going to gracefully euthanize any of the remaining humans that are outside that Preston Garvey could not do for himself. After doing all of these people a favor and helping with their inevitable demise, we're going to pick up this gun, this ammo, and whatever is on this guy, because occasionally this person has some clothing that will help boost your speed. Inside of the Museum of Freedom, we're going to position ourselves by this post right here and dispatch of this guy first, because that person really likes to hide behind poles and anything else, and they are effectively the most annoying NPC of all of these raiders. This guy you don't have to kill right away. If he ends up hiding behind, we can actually get to him when we open this door later. But if it doesn't take you any extra time, then feel free to kill him. We're going to go here. There's one more raider over here that we are going to kill that spawns in just random spots. I think I took a little bit too long, so he's just trying to hide and find me. Anyway, we're going to go down, we're going to spam E and keep spamming E to get past that little dialogue, and we're going to pick this lock. Now, if you end up breaking the one lockpick that you have, there are bobby pins up here. Just make sure that you don't accidentally enter the computer terminal while trying to pick these bobby pins up. We're going to grab this fusion core, and we're going to eliminate the rest of these guys that are in here. There are two right here, and there are two more at the top of the stairs. Now, I actually made an entire video about this section right here, so I don't really want to go into too much detail. You can look it up. I will actually post that below at the very end of the description below, how to stop Sturgis from locking his speech up. But we're going to come into here, and we're going to talk to Preston Garvey. After talking to Preston Garvey, Preston's going to start talking to Sturgis, and we're going to open this door, loot these coffee cups that are right here, and then we're going to start talking to Sturgis again. And after we spam through all of the dialogue and we have successfully went through this entire mission, which you will see by completed, we are going to run out the door and come out this door right here. Now, after we enter the door, while we're waiting for the load screen, which I haven't done here, we're going to go to our Nox player PipBoy app. We're going to go to inventory, and we're going to go to ammo. We're going to go to fusion core. After we load through the door, we're going to drop our fusion core onto the ground and then get into the power armor. We're going to do this to skip the animation of putting the fusion core inside of the power armor. And then after we get inside, we're just going to pick up our fusion core, and now we have powered power armor. Same thing with the baton. We're going to take our gun out before picking up this minigun in order to skip an animation of picking it up, and then we're going to jump to on here to the left of this pole, because this guy right here likes hiding behind this chimney. But if we're on the left of this pole, he actually can't hide behind the chimney, and we want to kill him because Preston Garvey's really horrible about killing this guy, and he's always, almost always, the last one left standing. We're going to jump down, hold E, go into third person and back, and try to get ourselves an animation skip of leaving the power armor, which we unsuccessfully did. And we're not going to kill any raiders at all, because every time we kill a raider, another raider will spawn, and that will keep happening until we kill the Deathclaw. So we have to kill the Deathclaw, making sure that no other raiders die first, and after killing the Deathclaw, then we can sit here and dispatch of all of the rest of our raiders using our HUD that will sit there and tell us where they are. Now, if you, one thing is, I sat here taking way too long to describe how to do this, which is always not something you want to do, because then you're sitting here trying to kill Grizzle, who ends up going into your power armor and wandering around and making it way too more complicated than it needs to be. So the faster you do this, the better. And if you keep having trouble with one of the raiders getting into the power armor, you can always just jump off the roof, run over here, kill the Deathclaw, and then kill everyone else and exit your power armor later. You actually still run at the same speed whether you're in the power armor or not, but you can sometimes get an animation skip by going into third person and back into first person while you're jumping off. After we've killed everybody, we're going to pull up our PipBoy, and we're going to level up. The two level ups that we want are Action Boy, and all the way down here we want solar powered, so we get extra endurance during daylight hours, and this will give us faster regeneration points. And then we are going to fast travel to the Museum of Freedom so we don't have to run all of the way back. After entering the Museum of Freedom, we are going to get to the top of these stairs and then shoot Mama Murphy to skip her dialogue. We do have to be at the top of the stairs for this to work, so just make sure that you actually get to the top of the stairs first. We're going to skip through Preston's dialogue, and then we're going to go through 3 dialogues of Mama Murphy, aiming to skip the first 2, and then on the last one, we don't have to skip any dialogue. We're just going to immediately leave the Museum of Freedom. Quick note that I forgot earlier: if you did not down patch, whenever you decide to finally get out of your power armor, you want to press R twice in order to take everything out of the power armor, because that you will need to sell all of that equipment later, because we will not be using our pickpocket strat. Okay, so I have changed the way that I'm showing you this, because now we're going to talk about using our PipBoy app while we are playing the game. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press X in order to auto walk, and what we're going to do after that is press Shift in order to auto run. Now if you notice by the keyboard below, we are not pressing anything in order to run. I'm just going to move the mouse around. Now when we find ourselves in a nice straightaway, when we're not going to actually run into something, that is when we're going to Alt Tab and go into our PipBoy app. I'll show you that now. Now we can Alt Tab in and out of our PipBoy app, and when we're walking straight, we're going to go to Inventory. We're going to get these fragmentation grenades, and we want to equip the this laser rifle. We also, during a walking segment, we want to reload the laser rifle because we are going to use this one shot that we have. It will be our only opportunity in order to acquire mom's spaghetti that we will possibly need later. After we have done that, you can put on any apparel that you may have found that will give you extra endurance or agility. And you can also just hotkey, you can favorite whatever you want to, wherever you want to, and do all of these things. And this is one of the best straightaways to do it because you have barely any trees, and especially when you get over here, you have nothing at all. When I get here, I like to go into maps, and remember that E that we marked earlier? We're going to hold forward, and then when we discover, we're going to stop running, Alt tab out, and then spam E. And that will be the fastest way that we can fast travel to Jailbirds, which is actually going to take us from one side of Jailbirds to the other, saving us almost 30 seconds, at least 12 seconds. After that, we're going to head towards these trees, and I like to use this little rock right here as a marker and head towards that point, and then go to the point of this tree right here. When you get to the edge of that tree, you're going to discover Grey Garden, and we need that for a fast travel point later. After we have ran and found Grey Garden, we are going to run towards this bridge that is down here. We will end up if you want to, we're going to refresh our AP under the bridge, and I did find that it does actually waiting this 1 hour outside help Preston Garvey not be in the river anymore. Now, here's the thing. If we run up and we don't stop running, our AP doesn't refresh. If you look at the AP, it has not refreshed. So you actually have to stop running, press E twice, and now your AP will refresh, and then we can keep going. What we're going to do is we're going to go to this boat over here while jumping through the water, and I will explain jumping through the water later. But we're going to pick up the sea captain's hat, and as we press X and Shift in order to run, we can now equip our sea captain's hat, and that will give us 2 extra endurance. We're going to come over here, and when we find Fraternal Post, we are going to fast travel to it. Now, you don't actually have to fast travel to Fraternal Post. I think it only saves like maybe 2-3 seconds. So don't be too worried if you can't fast travel to it really fast. But after that, we're going to turn around, and we're going to run directly to this pole right here. This pole that's on the ground. Because once we hit the tip of this pole right here, we're going to discover another place that we need to fast travel to later, which is Campus Law Offices. After we discover Campus Law Offices, we're just going to beeline it straight through here in order to discover another place that we have to fast travel to again, which is going to be Greeentech Genetics. And in order to do that, we are just going to sit here and completely beeline it straight. Now, during this time, we are going to run out of AP. So throughout this run to GoodNeighbor, which is where we're going to, we will be using a quantum, which I won't be using because I'm going to be stopping to talk to you and how to do this. So we're going to curve around here, and you see these 2 trees right here. We're going to go straight at those trees because that will allow us to discover Greeentech Genetics. Once we discover Greeentech Genetics, we're going to curve right and go straight for this amphitheater that's over here. And we want to go to the open face section of this amphitheater. And now we're going to jump through the water. We want to look up while jumping. This does 2 things. 1, while we're out of the water, we do not collect rads. And 2, it is actually faster than it is, it's 2 seconds faster jumping than it is swimming. We're going to go into here. We're going to grab this mini nuke. We're going to grab the green shirt and combat boots. And as we are running out of here, we can again Alt-Tab and equip the green shirt and combat boots. What we do want to do is we're going to eventually take this gun out, and we're going to use our one shot in order to get a better gun. Now, I'm going to stop for 1 second and explain to you that when the person that we shoot, they stand still for a very long time. So I don't want you to rush this. You do need to be quick, because everyone else around him will shoot you and will kill you very, very quickly. But as far as aiming to kill this person, you don't have to rush it. Even Nikolai, during his world record, ended up missing the shot and had to pull out his 10mm in order to finish this person off. But if you do it right, you stop, you get the headshot, he will die in one shot, and let's show you what that looks like right now. It's going to be this second person right here on the right, go up, headshot, grab the laser pistol, which is what we want, and now we're going to go over and go across this bus right here, but we want to go to the left because we do need to make sure that we discover Old Corner Bookstore, because we need to fast travel there later. Now we're going to jump on this ledge and jump around in order to get into GoodNeighbor without running all the way to the door of GoodNeighbor, saving us about a good 10+ seconds. Okay, now that we are in GoodNeighbor, there are two ways that we're going to go about this, and I will show you the down-patched version and the not down-patched version. For down-patch, we are going to run over to Fahrenheit, we're going to crouch down, we're going to quick save, and we're going to loot her 5mm ammo. We have a 90% chance to steal in the down-patched version, but in the current version, we have pretty much a 0% chance to steal. So this only works on the down-patched version. And I will show you why, because that 5mm that we got from the minigun earlier is going to add to what we're going to use for a sale. So we can actually just sell all of our 5mm. Then we go over, we're going to buy Destroyer's left leg, which will increase our movement speed by 10%. And if she has it, we're going to buy a biometric scanner. She does not have a biometric scanner, which is great because now I get to show you two other options that you can use in order to get a biometric scanner. Now we're going to confirm this trade, but now I have to show you what we do if we didn't down patch. Alright, if you did not down patch, we're going to come over here and we are going to talk to Daisy, and we're going to spam down and talk to her, and what we're going to do is we're going to sell what 5mm we have, the minigun, the short laser musket that we use, and then we're just going to spam all of this stuff right here that we had looted prior. Now we can go grab our left leg and the biometric scanner that she now has because I reset the game. That is a strat. You can just quick save and quick load and talk to her again, but it wastes way too much time. So let's just grab this biometric scanner while it's sitting here. But I will still show you other ways to get a biometric scanner if she doesn't have one. Now we're going to confirm this trade and we're going to come out. I'm going to quick save, and what we're going to do is directly after making this sale, we're going to steal this fat man and this mini nuke and make our way out as fast as possible before they can kill us. We might have to hit a Stimpax as well, but of course we are going to make it out without a hitch and without dying at all, completely flawlessly, because we are the best speedrunners in the world. Now that we have made our completely flawless execution of this sale without dying at all whatsoever or getting shot, We are now going to make our way to go save Nick. This straightaway is a really good spot to go into your PipBoy app and then equip your left leg and your laser pistol that we had just acquired before going into Park Street Station. When we get inside Park Street Station, we're going to do what I always do during any social situation where people are around and get through it as quickly as humanly possible while ignoring every single one that is around. When we get down here to the end, we are going to pick up that Nuke Quantum that's right there. And we are going to also ignore these guys and open up this open up the vault door right away. And then as we're waiting for it to open up, we can like pop a few shots at them, you know, make them regret their decisions and whatnot. It's not 100% too important, but it's something to do while we're sitting here. Anyway, we're going to run through and ignore all of these people as well. Open this door, run down these stairs, and also ignore all of these people. Basically, the whole time we're running is just us ignoring as many people as humanly possible. We're going to jump down here in order to get through this door. Come down here, drop down, and basically just keep running straight and then get through this door. Now, inside of this door right here, there's going to be two people that end up showing up, and we're going to kill them. If more than two people show up, kill them as well, but what you really want to do is just get the fuck out of there as fast as humanly possible. Kill this person as fast as possible, and grab this overseer's password. We're going to hit this, holds down, and override. And we're going to pick up two things. We're going to pick up the surgical trays, and we're going to pick up this vase and dirty ashtray. Now, see, Nick is talking. We're going to make him shut up by going to this corner right here. This corner is far enough away for him to shut up. Now, we're going to go here and talk to him again. That just skips his speech. And we're going to skip the first speech and one clean shot without ruining our recording, obviously, because we're really good at recording stuff. We're going to come down here, enter this door, and kill these three people. After we kill these three people, we need to sit down on this bench right here. And we're going to wait for Kellogg. So we're going to look left and press T before we wait, because sometimes, sorry, did I say wait for Kellogg? Wait for Nick, because sometimes Nick doesn't actually appear there. So we just want to make sure that he appears before we get up, so we know that if we have to wait another hour or 20 for him to appear. We're going to come here. He's going to start his first dialogue, and we're going to let him do his first dialogue. But after he starts his second dialogue, we're going to press E in order to force that door to open to skip all of the dialogue and animation after. This first guy only takes one shot, so we're only going to shoot him once after we reload. And there's a magazine right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this door and grab this magazine, and it gives us 5 action points and pretty much costs us no time in order to grab it. Now, after this, we're just basically going to John Wick it and kill everybody in our way as we run through here. But we do want to pick up this bourbon, because this bourbon is going to give us 1 endurance for a run that we're going to use later. So after we come through here and kill all of the rest of the people that are here, we need to start Nick's dialogue. And in order to do that, we have to pass through this threshold, and Nick should start dialogue after passing through this threshold. And after we do that, we're going to wait on this bed, say about 3 hours. The reason why that we wait a little bit longer on this bed is because we have to wait for Preston Garvey to make it all the way over to Sanctuary, which he hasn't done. Something about his game is glitching out about where Preston Garvey is. Let's ignore that for a second. And we're going to go and we're going to skip Nick's dialogue by shooting him a few times. Whatever. And after he starts talking again, then we can talk to him and open up the door in order to get to Skinny Malone. Now, we should have already equipped our fragmentation grenades for earlier, so we're going to walk forward and hold Alt and throw the grenade directly at that spot right there and then run away, because that will kill all of them in one shot, and we can keep running to get out of Park Street Station completely. And once we get out of Park Street Station, we're going to find the longest loading screen that we've ever seen in our entire life. Now, after getting here, Nick Valentine isn't actually going to spawn properly. He did spawn here, but he's not going to do that in the game. This is actually the first time he's ever spawned immediately after leaving Park Street Station. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for him to spawn, and we're going to go and fast travel to Sanctuary and talk to Preston. So, let's go find out where Preston is by going Preston Garvey in Sanctuary. This is not what it is. Hold on one second. After finding Preston Garvey in Sanctuary and not in Museum of Freedom, because he will literally never be here, there is a glitch that just popped up while I was recording this video. What we're going to do is we're going to talk to him, and we're going to we're just going to spam down as much as we possibly can until we get to I'll be glad to help, blah blah blah. But after I'm glad to help, then we're going to fast travel back to Nick. Please ignore this glitch. This whole game is filled with glitches, and this is a brand new one that pops up, and this is one out of like thousands. Anyway, so we're going to go back, and now that Nick has finally spawned, because he didn't actually spawn before, we're ignoring that. So now that he actually spawned, we're going to talk to him, and we're going to do 2 dialogues without doing a nice cover slide. So we're going to go back and we're going to go talk to Nick. Did I say this game is full of glitches? I don't know if I said that earlier, but we're going to go back and we're going to talk to Nick, and we're going to do 2 dialogues. One is going to be luck, and then the next one is going to be meet you there. After meet you there, we can run all the way to Diamond City. During that time, we're going to level up. When you see level up, you can actually just hold the tab button to get to this level up section without opening up your PipBoy. We're going to do that here, and we're going to get this pickpocket because we will need to pickpocket a key off of the mayor. And then we run all the way to DC. And easy peasy, we're going to come into here and we're going to pickpocket Mayor McDonald for the Kellogg house key. We're going to grab that, and we're not going to get caught pickpocketing because we got our pickpocket level up earlier. After we do that, we're just going to go right into DC. Inside of Diamond City, we are going to beeline it all the way to Nick Valentine's place. When we enter Nick Valentine's place, we're going to shoot Ellie and put her gun away immediately, and then talk to her in order to skip the dialogue between Ellie and Nick. When we're done talking to her, we're going to sit directly on the chair because we need to sit down, but we're going to get up immediately afterwards. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to spam down, and then right, and then down twice. So that's down, right, down, down, right, and then the rest of them are down. So that's down, right, and then the rest of them are down. Do not exit the door until you actually see the marker that says completed, because it takes a while to complete sometimes. Sometimes it's immediate and sometimes it does take a minute. But if you exit the door before it says completed, you'll have to do all of that dialogue all over again. So we're going to beeline it directly to Kellogg's house and make sure that we have our gun out before we enter the door. After we enter the door, all we're going to do is press this button right here, and we're going to skip our own dialogue. Give me 1 second. By picking the Squint Stout up, and then aiming to skip our own dialogue, and he's going to start talking. What we want is we want to pick up these 2 quantums and these 3 cherries as fast as possible, and now we're going to skip through Nick's dialogue. Now we're going to talk to Dogmeat. And after we tell him to find Shawn, we're going to go right out this door. After going out this door, we're going to fast travel to Grey Garden, which we discovered earlier after fast traveling through Jailberts. And we are going to make our way to go find Kellogg. If you don't know where that is, and it's hard to find, what I like to do is, you see this little nook right here inside of the map, and you have this little circle and it's pointed out. I just like to find that circle, and then right about here I will set the custom destination, and you can beeline it pretty much straight for that destination, which we're going to do right now. And while we're running, we're going to go into this house over here. We're going to jump this fence and grab behind this antifreeze bottle. There's a buff out. We're going to grab that buff out, and we're going to X and shift and go right to beeline it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our PipBoy app, go to aid, and we're going to take that buff out. With that buff out, it gives us extra endurance, so we should be able to get using only either 2 or 3 Nuke cherries, depending on how fast we did it. I have done it with only 2 before, saving 1 for a run later. But in order to increase our AP, we are going to be taking Nuke cherries during the run there, which I'm going to take 2 of them right now. And we're going to go up here. We're going to run up this log and just keep spamming jump as we're running in order to get up there. Go up this other log and still beeline it directly towards that marker that we just made. Once we get here, we're just going to go into the basement and go into this door right here, and we are now in Fort Hagen. Inside of Fort Hagen, again, we are going to completely ignore every single person, in this case, robot that is here, and run past them and open the elevator as quickly as possible. Now, after opening the elevator, we can come here and we can shoot this guy while we wait for it to open, and if you notice, there is a biometric scanner that we can loot while we wait for the elevator to open. That is one of the places that we can get a free biometric scanner at. And even if you do have a biometric scanner, I do suggest shooting that turret, just because you can get a military grade circuit board out of it. And since later we pick up 2 military grade circuit boards, it's really nice to have that one that takes 0 time instead of another one that ends up taking about 2 seconds. So you can save time there regardless. Anyway, after we come into here, the first military grade circuit board is in this desk drawer right here. So we're going to pick that up, and now we're going to run through, and again, we're going to ignore every single robot that's here as much as humanly possible. Running through all of it. There are 2 robots that are up here that kind of give you a hard time. I really do like pulling out my 10 mil for them. We can loot this if you want. It's not always necessary, but they kind of get in your way, so I really like just hitting them with my pistol whipping them, and that does help get them out of the way. When we get here, we're just going to loot this camera, loot the fan, loot the hot plate, coffee cup, whatever is in there, but we're going to get out of here, and we're going to get back in. And the reason that we walk out of that door before this door opens is because when we do, this door will already be open. Now we can quick save, come in here, and we're going to point it at this ceiling right here, and we are going to kill Kellogg and everyone that's in the room. After we kill Kellogg and everyone that's in the room, we're just going to tap R, and then spam E in order to get past picking up his gun, and pick up this other military grade circuit board if we didn't find one earlier when looking for it. We're going to go into Kellogg's terminal. We're just going to spam E after access log, then holds the down button, and then keep spamming E again to open the security doors, and then tab out of here. And we're going to make our way to this elevator. Now, if you want to, we can pick this buff out up and get into the elevator. When you're in the elevator, this is when I like to go to my map, and I like to mark where Virgil's cave is. If you look at these squares right here, 3 squares down and 1 square over, you can move the marker, and right there is about where Virgil's cave is, so I like to make the map marker right there. After this opens up, we are going to run forward, and we're going to hold W as we're spamming E, because W is going to be the up button for us in order to force it on open door, and then we're just going to press E once and then tab once, and our door will open. Now we're going to go out here, and we're going to hide in this corner, because in this corner no one can see us and we don't have any enemies. And from there we are going to fast travel to the Museum of Freedom in order to finish a mission from the Minutemen. Okay, now that we have collected Kellogg's brain, and we have also talked to Preston Garvey in Sanctuary and not in the Museum of Freedom, we're going to fast travel back to the Museum of Freedom, and we're going to run directly left to discover a place called Thicket Excavations. When we discover Thicket Excavations, we're going to fast travel to it, and the fast travel point is going to be on the other side of Thicket. Now we discover it right between these 2 trees, so we can pick up a PipBoy right as we hit those 2 trees and fast travel to get to the other side. Once we get to the other side, we're going to run directly towards our marker in order to find the settlement that we need to go to. Now, we need to help out these settlers in order to become friends with the Minutemen. And in order to help them, they want us to deal with their raider problem by dispatching of a bunch of raiders for them. But to quote the famous speedrunner Tomato Anus, we don't actually need to kill the raiders for them. As a matter of fact, all we need to do is give them a couple of bullets, and they will be able to fight off the raider problem themselves. After saving the settlers, we're going to fast travel back to Diamond City Marketplace and head directly into this door. When we get into this door, we're going to see Piper and Nick having a conversation, so we're just going to leave them alone and let them have their conversation by going back out and back inside of the door, skipping all of their dialogue. When we get in, we talk to Piper, and then we just spam the down button to skip all of the dialogue and tell both of them that we don't want them with us anymore.
Je n'ai pas besoin de compagnie.
After talking with them, we're going to go back to GoodNeighbor and hit up the memory den. Inside of the memory den, we're not going to take our gun out to try to skip our own dialogue this time. We're just going to talk to her, grab this tray, and then spam the down button while backing up behind this door, because we need to spam down on Kellogg and then back down on Dr. Amari. Once we get here, then we can start pulling our gun out if we want to. Keep spamming down, skip our own dialogue, And after we thank Nick and have him sit down, we can run outside. And we are going to skip all of their dialogue and animation that they're about to do by going out this door and going back in this door. Now, this does save about 5 seconds, if I recall properly, if you're fast at looting. But if you're not really very quickly at looting, you don't have to walk out this door. You can just start looting the stuff that's on Dr. Amari's table while you're waiting for their dialogue to finish. When you talk to Dr. Amari, well, she has like this unskippable section of dialogue. You can loot there. And there is a buff out here if you did not grab the buff out that was in the cabinet in Fort Hagen. Now, getting through the memories should be pretty self-explanatory. All we have to do is walk forward down this trail that occurs until we get to the very last memory. Once we get to the very last memory, don't talk to anybody, don't touch anything, just stand back, maybe take a stretch break, use the bathroom, grab some water, grab some coffee, grab a beer, whatever you have to do, but sit back, relax, and wait for this cutscene to be over. After pressing E on the TV and leaving the memories, we're going to ignore the doctor. If you haven't looted all of the stuff that's on this table, minus the waters, you don't need those, do so now. And if you want to, you can loot whatever's in his first aid box. But it is pretty RNG, and I don't think that the first aid box is really 100% necessary. After leaving this door, we're going to fast travel to Fort Hagen. When we get to Fort Hagen, one thing that you want to do is if you notice during your runs, depending on how fast or slow you have been, you're going to get here through different times of the day. So during your practice runs, I do suggest finding out what time of day you normally get here and adjusting the time that you wait for Nick on the bed in order to get here during the day so that you have that one extra endurance from the perk solar powered, because this only works during the day. For the rundown, we're going to be taking the buff out that we had picked up earlier and the bourbon that we had picked up in the vault after saving Nick. Now, as far as running there goes, we're pretty much going to go in a straight line. So we're going to line this green dot up with the marker that we made. Mostly. For a bit of the run, we do want that marker a little bit to the left of our green dot that's in the center, because we're going to be taking the westernmost route, and there's to avoid obstacles like getting through the hole in this fence and getting up through this section right here. But as a general rule, if you're running and you come up to an obstacle, let's say for instance this rock, and you have the option of going around it to the left of that marker or to the right of that marker, you want to choose the right pretty much every single time. Now, while we're running, in order to get infinite dash all of the way to Virgil's cave, we're going to be consuming our quantums, and if you have any left, the Nuke cherries, which you should have one left if you did it right, but if not, that's okay. A tiny walking segment isn't really going to hurt. Now, as you're running south, you're going to come to the Decrepit Factory, very likely, and inside of the Decrepit Factory, if you go right into here, you'll see a biometric scanner. If you have not grabbed a biometric scanner by this point, this one is 100% going to be there every single time, so that is your last chance to grab one. After that, we're going to keep running towards the marker and get to Virgil's cave. Inside of Virgil's laboratory, we're going to have our gun out to skip a bit of his dialogue. We're going to shoot him, put our gun away, talk to him, and then back up while pressing down. All we're going to do is just spam down until we get the mission, exit Virgil's cave, and then we're going to fast travel to Greeentech Genetics. Inside of Greeentech Genetics, we're going to be doing a little bit of parkour in order to get around all of the obstacles that are here. First one is jumping past this tree. It's not, you can definitely get caught up while you're trying to do this, so just practice that a couple times, but that is by far not the hardest trick to do. After running through everything, if you do get blown up or hit too much, just feel free to spam stim packs while you're running, and hopefully you should live. Don't forget to quick save every once in a while. These are already blown up, but you'd want to probably either pick up as you run or shoot the mines. For this next trick, there's going to be a guy with a rocket launcher up here, and we're going to be throwing hand grenades through the door in order to kill the guy with the rocket launcher, because he will kill us. And this next part, I don't always opt to do this during my run, but it does save quite a bit of time. If you get on this railing and quick save, we're going to be jumping onto this piece of metal right here by the wall. And once we get onto there, we're going to be running and jumping to these planners right here. When we get on these planners, we're going to be running directly across, and now we're not going to be jumping onto this little square right here, but we're actually going to be jumping onto the lip that is right here. And you want to jump over the railing pretty quickly, because if you stand there for too long, you will end up slipping down onto this square right here. So let's do that, if I can quick save. And immediately jump to the right by pressing forward and right. Now we're going to pick up the missile and the missile launcher, run back this way, get onto this railing, and jump across into this room. When we get here, make sure you're spamming the stim packs. There's explosions that happen right here that can kill you. And make our way into the elevator. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is during one of our level ups, we will be getting the perk Moving Target, and we want to get the perk Moving Target prior to getting to Greeentech Genetics, because this will drastically increase our chances of getting through Greeentech Genetics alive. Inside of the elevator, we're going to make sure that we have our Fat Man out. When we come through here, it's not really important, but running to the right is like saves microseconds than the left, because down there's obstacles on the left you have to run through. But what we're going to do is, after we walk through this door, is we're going to shoot directly up at this roof, and that will kill the courser that we need to kill later in one fatal shot. When we get up here, we're going to find the courser's body, grab the courser chip, optionally grab some stim packs, and there is a mini nuke right here that sometimes does get blown because of the explosion further under the stairs and is unreachable. But if it is reachable, then we're going to pick that up. We're going to center ourselves on the terminal, and you do want to practice kind of like really getting that terminal center, because if you don't, and if you're off to the sides, there's like this animation that happens that can also end up moving you back and forth quite a bit, and it can actually lose, like, I've seen it lose 3 to 5 seconds sometimes. After fast traveling to Old Corner Bookstore, we're going to turn around, and the path to Old North Church is going to be through this raider camp. We're going to take a right at this broken car right here. We're going to be taking a left at this broken car right here. And now at this sign, we're going to be taking another left and then cutting right. Then from here, it's just a matter of running straight and then turning around to your left in order to find the door. Inside of the Old North Church, we're just going to ignore most of these ghouls, not all of them. There's a couple that we shoot. This one is slightly optional. Some people don't shoot it, but you do want to kill this ghoul and this ghoul. I prefer to kill all three of them because occasionally when you're sitting here putting in the passcode, that ghoul back there will catch up to you and will kind of ruin things. And I've definitely been hit right as I try to press the button, and I don't know if the button has been pressed or not, and I've had to push the passcode in a couple more times because of a mistake. Anyway, all we're going to do is type in railroad. And we're going to pull out our Fat Man, and we're going to be aiming not straight because that will actually throw the mini nuke down a hallway and it won't kill any of them, but we're going to be aiming off to the left here. It's going to be somewhere around there. It doesn't really matter as long as you're not shooting completely straight. When we get into here, we do have to kill Deacon, so we're going to at least kill him. The other ones don't really matter as much, but there's a certain amount of railroad individuals that we do have to kill in order to skip a mission given to us by Father later. The next one that we have to kill is the Doctor. And lastly, we're going to be killing Tinker Tom. We're going to go into this computer and just spam E to analyze the courser chip, and then we're just going to press E and decode this courser chip and make our way back out of the church. We fast travel back to Virgil's cave. Now, this time when we talk to Virgil, instead of spamming down, we're actually going to be rude to him because it is actual faster dialogue in order to press the right button. When we after we're done spamming through this, when we see that the signal plans have been given to us, down here underneath behind this gas canister, there's going to be a mini nuke. We're going to grab that mini nuke and we're going to head out. Hi everyone, I just wanted to apologize because I feel like this video is starting to get stale, and it is going to get a lot more stale. I'm pretty burnt out. I thought this was going to be maybe a 2.5 day project. It's been 5 days now, and I've been running into a lot of problems with the storm. The solar panel that I used to make electricity broke, so I had to scour the internet to find a used one and drive 30 miles away to go pick it up to finish this video. It hasn't really been the easiest time. I actually had to reset my entire Windows because something messed up and it would not read my video card. Anyway, so for the rest of this video, I'm just really going to be getting down to the nitty-gritty and getting through it as fast as humanly possible. So I just wanted to apologize for that. In the meantime, while I'm here, do the classic, hey, if you like these videos, give me a follow. But I'm really saying it because I don't have 1,000 followers, so I'm not monetized. I don't get paid to do any of this. As a matter of fact, I'm putting my own money and time into this with nothing back just because I enjoy this community. So if you could give me a follow, I don't even care if you click the little bell or if you don't even watch any more of my videos. Just the process of actually getting monetized so I could possibly make some income off of my future videos that I plan on making, especially my survival speedrun tutorial and the new world records that are coming out. I have 3 Fallout 4 world records coming out. I have a Survival Institute world record, a Survival Brotherhood of Steel world record, and a Brotherhood of Steel glitchless world record video coming out. And I would really enjoy it if I could at least make a few dollars back from making those videos. So, yeah, please just give me a follow, and if you feel inclined, you can make your dog or your 7 cats or your gerbil or the mouse that lives behind your stove a YouTube account and have them follow me as well. The faster I can get to 1,000 followers, the more likely I am to continue making videos like this. That being said, I really hope you enjoy the rest of this tutorial with no more interruptions. After we're done stealing Norman Osborn's possessions, we're going to fast travel to Sanctuary and find Preston Garvey, who, if you're lucky, is only standing in the river trying to give you radiation instead of fighting off every single bloatfly that is sitting inside of Sanctuary and refusing to talk to you for the next 2 minutes. After spamming through this cursed dialogue with Preston Garvey having to be talked to multiple times and freezing up multiple times, we make our way to Sturgis, and do that most likely by fast traveling back to Sanctuary. Luckily for us, Sturgis actually sits around this house, so we don't have to go looking for him like we would with Preston. He's mostly fixing this broken fan that never actually gets fixed ever. We're going to have him... my god, I didn't actually finish talking to Preston. After getting the mission from Preston, we're going to talk to Sturgis. We will have to talk to Sturgis twice in order to finish the teleporter, but you probably already knew that. For the platform, you want to put it in the middle of this road if this is going to be one of your first times doing this, because that is the best spot in order to make sure that this fits with no problem and nothing obstructing it. Then we're going to build 6 generators, and if you end up not having enough rubber for one, then don't worry about it. You can quickly either scrap this ball or scrap any of these tires that are sitting on the ground. Connect all of the cables, talk to Sturgis, and get into the Institute. Inside of the Institute, we are going to run past this threshold and start going down the stairs in order to get Father, who is also Son, in order to start talking to us. Once we initiate his dialogue, we're going to go into the computer terminal, click our mouse once, press R, click network scanner, press E until we get through there, and then tab to get out. We're going to sit here and wait for Shawn, Father, Son, to get through all of his dialogue, which we can use this time to raid these medkits if we want to. When this opens, all we have to do is run forward. We don't have to do anything special, and during this time that we are going down the elevator, feel free to use this in order to do whatever you need to do in your PipBoy app. After 2 elevator rides and some seriously messed up mental manipulation by your own son, we're going to talk to the old man Shawn instead of the robot Shawn. With our pistol out, once he starts his first dialogue, we're just going to pop one in his chest, and from there we're going to press down through 6 of our dialogues and then press right to end the conversation. After saying it's really you, we're going to say no more and then keep spamming down to get through the rest of this dialogue. And that's when he's going to tell us to meet the division leaders. Now, there is a slight glitch that happens right here. If you aren't able to open these doors after getting through the dialogue, you don't have to actually go back through all of this dialogue. All you have to do is run up to him, press E to start talking, and then these doors will open. Just a little hint that you might run into every once in a while during your runs. Now we're going to talk to all 4 division leaders, and I'm going to show you on this one right here. But if you don't know when to stop talking to a division leader, it's going to be when you see as your right option, good for now. After you see good for now, you can just leave the conversation completely. So let's talk to all 4 division leaders and get on with this. A quick little hint as you're running out this door, if there is somebody about to run through this door, don't spam E on the door. Try to talk to them before they can get through the door, and it'll prevent them from entering. After talking to Justin, who is arguably the worst person inside of the entire Institute, we're going to fast travel back to the Institute, but we're not going to use our PipBoy app to fast travel this time. We're going to look away and use our actual PipBoy, because our PipBoy app is going to be in view-only mode, and it won't let us actually fast travel using the PipBoy app until we have disengaged the conversation from Justin. When we get to the Institute here, we're going to push this button so this elevator can come back up, because we will have to be getting into that elevator. And we're going to run back up and get a mission from Shawn. During the time that, either during or before or after the time we're talking, we want to pick up this bourbon for our next mission. We're going to get the mission from Shawn, and then we're going to fast travel to Old North Church. After getting to Old North Church, two things that we do want to consume are going to be our bourbon and that last buff out that we had. During the run, if you got lucky and you picked up some extra cherries or quantums through your RNG, feel free to use them during this run. You will not need them any other time during the rest of this game. Now we're just going to run across this river. Make sure to jump when you're going through the water to make it a little bit faster, and we're going to head between these two buildings right here. Then we're going to head left towards this car, making sure not to touch the car. If you don't know about this already, any car that has the ability to explode, if you briskly walk into it, it can deliver damage to you and it can kill you immediately. Anyway, after getting over this bridge, we're going to head directly for the ship right here. When we get to this point, we're going to jump up onto this ladder right here and jump onto this circle. We want a quick save here because there is a raider with, I believe, a mini nuke that will sometimes kill you while you're running over this. Now, let me show you how to run over this. We see this, this second rope coming up right here. What you want to do is make sure that second rope isn't visible, and you basically have a straight line going right down your screen. You also want a quick save here just in case you end up falling down, but this is how you do it. You basically put the center dot right on the rope and hold forward and run, and don't move your mouse at all. You might make like very, very minuscule slight adjustments, but the more you move your mouse, the more likely you are to just fall off. When you get to the top, you are going to hold the forward and left button, or W and A at the same time, while spamming jump. When you get over about to this ledge, sometimes you might be a little bit further down and this will be in your way, but when you get all the way off to the left, you can let go of A, or moving left, and press W in order to jump over. It does take a slight bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, you will almost never fall again. Now we're going to enter this door, ignore Z6, loot this if you feel like it, but again, you probably won't need to. And down here in this corner is going to be a mini nuke. We're going to pick that up and go straight into this ladder. Hopefully you have hotkeyed a weapon, which is Kellogg's pistol. Now, when you take out Kellogg's pistol, what you want to make sure of is you have a regular gun out, because you will be able to take Kellogg's pistol out immediately like that. If you don't have a gun out and you take Kellogg's pistol out, there's this animation where he spins the gun, and that does waste quite a bit of time. Now, we're going to kill this person right here and this person right here using Kellogg's pistol. And there's two ways that we can make it out of here. You either A, we can stand at the edge of this plank and we can fast travel back to the Institute, or we can actually jump into the water, and while we're in the water, we can fast travel back to the Institute. Either way is up to you. Back at the Institute, we're going to go talk to Shawn again, and he's going to tell us to go to our room. If this is one of your first run-throughs, I suggest quick saving before talking to Father Shawn's son, because there is a glitch that shows up. This glitch is if you come over to this room and X6 is not standing here, you cannot complete the mission. I have found 0 workarounds. Closing the game, reloading it doesn't help. Quick save and quick loading, anything besides actually going back in time and getting the mission again will never bring him back. The game is shot. You cannot advance any further. When you get into here, if you want to, we can grab the 10 stim or the 5 stim packs that are sitting there, and we're going to fast travel directly back to the Institute. Again, we're going to run forward and talk to Shawn. And Shawn is going to give us the mission Battle of Bunker Hill, which we are going to cheese our way through. We do this by fast traveling to Old North Church. We are going to get our fat man ready, and we're going to run to the right of Old North Church. We're going to go to the left of this next building and cut directly through the graveyard full of ghouls. After we get through the graveyard, we are going to take a left, and we're going to position ourselves right here in this corner by this fence and this trash can. Now, I'm going to take a quick screenshot, and I am going to show you how to get this shot on your first try. Now that I've opened up my super advanced photo editor, also known as Windows Paint, I am going to divert your attention to a few different points on the screen. The first one is going to be the tip of this roof right here. And the second, if we look at this pole, I want you to look at this top right corner of this pole right here. And last but not least, I want you to look at the circle that is on this fat man right here. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw some imaginary lines. We're going to start with the corner of this pole right here and draw an imaginary line going directly straight. And we're going to start with the tip of this roof right here, and we're going to draw an imaginary line going directly up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the circle of this fat man and we're going to place it right here in this corner of these lines that we have made. Now, mind you, we are not going to aim when we pull off this shot. That wastes time. 2, if you aim and you try this, you're going to miss. So we're just going to lift up our fat man onto this position and launch the nuke, and we should hit our target every single time. Now, the ghouls that we ran past earlier will be trying to attack you, so in order to fast travel, after we launch our nuke, we're going to get into the water and go forward until the notification pops up, and we're going to fast travel to the point we found at the beginning of the game, Campus Law offices. After getting to Campus Law, we're just going to turn right and head towards these doors to go into CIT ruins. Inside of the CIT rotunda, we're going to move right, and we're going to pick up this mini nuke sitting on the ground right here before heading upstairs to go talk to Shawn. On the roof, we're going to make sure that our 10mm pistol is out so we can skip some of Shawn's dialogue.
Shawn. Vous savez, mais maintenant.
And then we're going to spam down through all of this conversation. After the conversation is over and he starts talking again, we're going to shoot him to skip this dialogue. And Battle of Bunker Hill is completed, and we can now fast travel back to the Institute. Inside of the Institute, we have to go all the way to the top floor to have a meeting. Once we get inside here, we're going to sit on this chair right here, and when we sit down, we're going to wait 1 hour. After waiting 1 hour, we're going to fast travel to Charles Amphitheater. We fast travel here in order to skip the meeting itself and waste a little bit of time, and you do want to be quite fast at this. So you want to make sure that you're hidden, otherwise if not, you will not be able to fast travel out, and we're going to grab this free mini nuke and fast travel back to the Institute. Back at the Institute, we are going to come back up here and we're going to talk to Shawn. If you want to, you can pull this out to skip this dialogue and ask him what he missed and spam through all of this. After this, we're going to go down the stairs and we're going to talk to Allie Fillmore. Now, there's a thing with Allie Fillmore. If we do this method of going to Charles View Amphitheater, grabbing the mini nuke and coming back, depending on the time of day or what Allie Fillmore is doing, She might be really close in order to just jump down and talk to her, but she might also be sleeping in her bed. There is a way around this, but I'll save that for the end. Again, I told you right now we're just going to be doing what the world record speedrun does. After talking to Ali Fillmore, if you're far enough away, you can fast travel to the Institute and get right here. You'll fast travel to this point where you can just press backwards and then press this button. And now we're going to go up and use the teleporter to get to the rooftop of Mass Fusion. Now about now would be a good time in order to use your level ups if you want to. Obviously it's optional, but it will make the rest of this game much easier for you. That will be getting 2 levels of toughness, 2 levels of life giver, and we're going to get 1 level of medic. And optionally, if you did not downpatch the game and you're not switching weapons in order to reload, there is the perk Quick Hands, which will make your reloads times incredibly faster, that you should be able to take any time that is available for you to do so during the game. With that, through these elevator rides, you will want to make sure that you reload all of your weapons, because the Fat Man takes a long time to reload, and you're going to want to hotkey your missile launcher to something and make sure that that is also reloaded as well before entering this next phase. We're going to spam E to get through this. And when we get to the rooftop of Mass Fusion, we want to grab a couple items from this desk right here. We're going to grab this Mass Executive Lab password and the Executive ID. We're going to turn around, we're going to go down, and we're going to run past this guy in power armor. And we're going to go right here and just jump off of this ledge right here and fall down. And we want to fall down in between these 2 buildings. Now, if you're wondering what just happened, do you remember when we ran across the bus and jumped into GoodNeighbor without actually going through the door? Well, this is the exact same load point in order to get into GoodNeighbor. And after we load into GoodNeighbor, we're going to open up our map and we're going to go back to Mass Fusion. After fast traveling to the Mass Fusion building and not the Mass Fusion Executive Suite, we're going to go right into Mass Fusion. Inside of Mass Fusion, we're going to run past these 2 guys and use our ID card reader to get into this elevator. Again, if you have not reloaded all of your weapons, this is a high time to do so. We're going to come down these stairs, come over here, open this door, and then run into here and press this button. While we're waiting for this decontamination process to happen, we're going to use our PipBoy app in order to take all of our Radaway and the rest of our Radex to get through this next section. We're going to come up here, we're going to press this button, spam E, and when this disappears, we're going to run while spamming E in order to get past that screen and then push the button again. If you want to, we can take some stim packs in order to get our health back, which is usually a really good idea. Right here, you want a quick save. We're going to run upwards. We're going to open up this door. Quick correction, don't open this door until after you kill the other 2 robots. You'll see why in a second. Come down here and then kill this robot. We are going to, after killing the robot, we want to pull out Kellogg's pistol that we should have had hotkeyed again, and we will shoot the robot 2 times in order to kill it. We're going to switch to our laser rifle and kill this Protectron, and then as long as we have more than 1 missile, we can use that in order to kill these Assaultrons. But we do want to make sure that we have at least 1 missile left over for the end of the game. After killing those Assaultrons, we're going to come up and either use an extra missile or our laser rifle in order to kill this last Protectron. And then we're going to head out the door. We're going to head out this door and head out Mass Fusion, and then we're going to fast travel back to the Institute. Back at the Institute, we do have to talk to Ali Fillmore again, so we're going to turn left and go up into this door right here, making sure that while we're doing so, on our PipBoy app, we are disarming ourselves and getting our fists out and ready. Now we can come up to Ellie Fillmore, and if she tries to start talking to us immediately, we can punch her, and then we can talk to her, and once we start talking to her, the conversation is over, and we can fast travel directly back to the Institute. If we can initiate the conversation immediately, we do not have to punch her. Back inside the Institute, we are going to go back upstairs and talk to Shawn again. We're going to punch Shawn to get past his dialogue about the bioscience person, and then spam through the dialogue to get our next mission. With our next mission, we're going to fast travel to Grey Garden, which we had discovered at the beginning of the game. After fast traveling to Grey Garden, if you have an extra missile, you can use it. If not, you can use a mini nuke. We are going to come over here and we are going to kill these guys right here. And after taking our shot, we are going to completely get rid of the rest of anyone that is left that didn't die from it and enter the house. Inside the house, we talk to Thompson. And the reason that we do not want to have extra charisma at all whatsoever is we want to actually fail the speech check right here. If we end up failing, then it's a lot faster. We can just walk out of the door and then fast travel back to the Institute. If you end up succeeding the speech check, then you have to go through the dialogue and you have to talk to Thompson again before being able to leave the door to fast travel to the Institute. Make sure that you fail both persuasion checks before you walk out the door and don't do what I just did, otherwise you'll have to come back. Back at the Institute again, we have to go talk to Father. Father's going to tell us to record our speech, so we're going to jump down here, look at the microphone, and you can choose any dialogue that you want to, just spam through it all as quickly as possible. We're going to fast travel to the Diamond City Market. Entering the market, we're going to veer right and go down this alleyway right here. And head directly into the radio station. Inside of the radio station, we're going to grab all three things that are in this box, and we're going to put the first one on the center, the second one on the right, and then the third one on the left, and then we're going to head out the door. Back at the Institute, we are going to make sure that we do not have any weapons and we have bare hands for this next mission. We're going to take a left and go through these doors and keep going straight. After making our way to the Institute Reactor, we're going to talk to Shawn, spam the down dialogue. If we want to, we can even open this door while we're spamming the dialogue just to make it a slight bit faster. Come over here, push the reaction core in, come over to this terminal, and we only need one option, which will be initiate reactor startup sequence. After that, in order to skip Shawn's speech, I do suggest quick saving for your first time doing this, but we're going to hit him 4 times, and then put our fists away before everyone can be angry and kill us. Then we're going to talk to Shawn again, and spam the dialogue and get out of here. To save time, right after we get out into the Advanced Institute systems, we can fast travel directly to the Institute to skip this next section. Now we're going to run to the top floor to again do another meeting. When we get here to do a meeting, as we're going to sit down, we're going to go into our settings, we're going to go into display, and we're going to turn dialogue camera back on. This will make it so we can talk to everybody without having to move our head back and forth. And we're just going to spam down through the meeting. After the meeting, this is very important, we do have to wait an hour before getting back up. After getting back up, all we're going to do is jump down here and go back and talk to Shawn one last time. Now, if you want to, you can turn the dialogue camera off to get through the last conversation that we're going to have. After talking with Shawn, we're going to fast travel back to the Institute. We're going to go left and through this door. We're going to take our fists out and we're going to talk to Madison Lee. Now, optionally, we can pick up all of these synth relay grenades while we're sitting here waiting for that dialogue to finish. But we are going to spam down through this conversation after punching Rosalind. But don't punch her twice, otherwise you ruin the game. And this is what it should look like with sound.
Docteur Lee.
Qu'est-ce que je peux faire pour vous? Je sais qu'il est ravi que le réacteur fonctionne.
Docteur Lee.
Qu'est-ce que je peux faire pour vous?
Shawn a dit que c'était le moment.
Ah. Bon. Docteur Horman, par ici. C'est le moment. Quoi? Je travaille toujours sur le code en fait. Malheureusement, on n'a plus le temps. Allons-y.
We're going to press the down button until we say prime on our side, and then we're going to press the right button in order to say nothing so we have no questions, and after that we're going to fast travel to the airport. Now, when we spawn into the airport, we are going to start running immediately. Not just because this is a speed run and you want to go as fast as possible, but because directly in front of you is a Brotherhood of Steel member with a Gatling laser who will kill you very quickly if you decide to dilly-dally. Our first order of business after getting into the airport will be to destroy 3 generators. The first generator is at the end of this hallway right here, and the second generator is behind this vertibird that is taking off. Now, I want you to notice that there's a Brotherhood of Steel member standing there. 90% of the time, there will be a Brotherhood of Steel member standing there, and I'm going to tell you this because it only takes 1 shot in order to destroy the generator. And if you come here at night, or while it's cloudy, or both, you will not be able to see him, and you will shoot and it will not blow up because you will accidentally be shooting the Brotherhood of Steel. So, if that happens, all you have to do is just move your aim a little to the right or a little to the left, and you should have no problem blowing up the second generator. The third generator that we are going to blow up is on the top of this tower. Now, normally, we would have to go up an elevator to reach the top of the tower to reach the generator to destroy it. But we have a missile launcher, so we are going to shoot a missile at the very top of this pillar right here, and the explosion coming off of the missile will be sufficient enough to destroy the third generator. After we destroy the third generator, we will want to reach Liberty Prime as quickly as possible because once we reach him, our synth virus will spawn. We are going to kill Proctor Ingram with our Fat Man by aiming at this tower right here, and the explosion that generates off of that tower should be sufficient enough to kill Proctor Ingram. If it is not, then you can finish her off with your laser pistol. Once we get to the top, we are going to throw 3 Institute beacons. Now, my official recommendation for where to throw them in Glitchless is going to be 1 right here in order to block this pathway from Brotherhood of Steel members, and the other 2 are going to be down on the ground at the base of the stairs. This will keep the Brotherhood of Steel members down on the ground, fighting all of the synths that are down there and not making their way up the stairs in order to kill you or your synth virus. Now, if you have also decided to pick up synth relay grenades, we can start throwing those all willy-nilly. Just understand that if you accidentally hit another synth with one of these synth relay grenades, they will act as if you were attacking them, and they will aggro you, so just make sure not to throw 2 in the exact same spot at once. Now, when you see that 50% complete mark pop up, there is going to be this vertibird that starts flying towards you. It is highly suggested not to shoot this vertibird down because you have well over a 50% chance of it crashing and killing your synth virus, causing you to have to wait another minute for another synth virus to spawn. So the way that we are going to take care of Elder Maxton is make sure that our health is all the way up at the top, and when you see 75%, he is about to jump down, and we can aim over here, shoot at Elder Maxton, and then finish him off with whatever we have left to finish him off with. We also do want to make sure that we are standing off to the side so he is shooting us and not our synth virus. Otherwise, our synth virus might die due to Elder Maxton. Now, when we see that it is 100% complete, if you have run out of ammo, I do suggest looting some of the ammo off of these corpses because we will need a few more fusion cells to get through the rest of this mission. After the Courser appears, we can shoot him in the head a few times in order to skip his dialogue and immediately transport out of the airport. After watching a brief scene of the airship exploding, we are going to fast travel back to the Institute. Inside of the Institute, we are going to press left and back with our laser rifle out so that we can see Shawn. We are going to shoot Shawn and put him out of his misery. with probably better aim than what I had. Once the HUD disappears, you can stop your timer and your speedrun is officially over. Congratulations, you have made it to the end of this video. Just kidding, there's a little bit more left. I am going to throw in some bonus content with some new strats that are unofficial, but you might like to throw into your speedrun, which may or may not be faster. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that there is a 7-second time save in order to get to Red Rocket. In order to do that, we are going to take advantage of our hotkeys that we put on our PipBoy app, and we're going to put an extra hotkey where Sanctuary spawns. If we don't do that, and we actually use our PipBoy itself, we're not going to be saving the 7 seconds, and it will be pretty futile to do this trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to run down and we're going to run across this log, and when we hit these bushes, we are going to Alt-Tab, press our Sanctuary button twice, and then press yes, whatever you decided to hotkey these to, and we will fast travel into Sanctuary. After we fast travel into Sanctuary, we are just going to run across the river, ignoring the bridge and ignoring the grenades, and make our way to Dogmeat like we normally would in the regular run. Now, do you remember during this meeting when we fast traveled out to the amphitheater to pick up the one mini nuke that had spawned? Well, if you do, I'm sure that you remember me telling you that after talking to Shawn, we have to talk to Allie Fillmore, and sometimes Allie Fillmore is in her bed sleeping, and we have to wake her up after running to the other side of the Institute, and this wastes minutes. So I have found a way in order to eliminate this RNG completely, and it involves taking a completely new route at the intro of the game. This new route starts directly after picking up your Sea Captain's hat. Instead of running up over these rocks, we are going to run in this direction. After running in this direction, we are going to jump over this railing, and we are going to set up our PipBoy app to have our E right about here. When we get over and into the corner of this building, we will Alt-Tab and spam our E button in order to fast travel to Cambridge Polymer Labs. Once we get into Cambridge Polymer Labs, we are going to turn around and we are going to discover CIT Ruins. This discovery of CIT Ruins is going to be what is going to allow us to stop Allie Fillmore from going anywhere after the meeting. Well, now that we have found the CIT Ruins, when we get to this meeting and after waiting on our chair for 1 hour, we are going to forego that mini nuke and we are going to fast travel to CIT Ruins, and we are going to instantly fast travel back to the Institute. The reason why this works is because when you fast travel, the game passes time depending on how far you traveled from one part of the map to another. Since we are not really traveling far at all, what this does is this passes such a small amount of time that the meeting will end up being over by the time we get to the top of the stairs. Since the meeting isn't over until we reach the top of the stairs, it gives Allie Fillmore no time to go anywhere, and she should still be right here when we are done talking to Shawn. Now we talk to Allie Fillmore without even going anywhere. We can fast travel back to the Institute in order to get into the elevator and continue on with business as usual. Now at some point in time you might be asking yourself, hey, since I took that 7-second time save, I don't have any fragmentation grenades, and don't we kill Skinny Malone and his gang with the fragmentation grenades that we picked up in Sanctuary? Well, there is another way, so let's improvise, adapt, and overcome. On top of it, there is something else that we're going to do that will eliminate potentially bad RNG. And not just bad RNG, but it is the biggest run killer in this entire speedrun. Now, eliminating this bad RNG has not been fully tested, nor is it guaranteed. This is only theory. But getting rid of Skinny Malone is guaranteed, so let's work on that now. After discovering CIT ruins, we're going to be running through this raider camp right here, and we're going to be picking up this landmine, and we're going to be looting this box. Now, this box does have some RNG explosives inside of it, but the one explosive that is not RNG is going to be the Molotov cocktail. Now, remember when we shot that guy in front of the mass fusion building and we stole his gun? Well, if we come over here, which it's not here because this is later in the game, I didn't feel like playing it through again in order to get to this spot, but there will be a landmine right here that we can also pick up. Having 2 landmines is better than having 1, so we're going to be using that method. After we get in Park Street Station and open up the vault door, we're going to be placing a landmine directly after these turnstiles in front of you because that's where Skinny and his gang are going to appear. You don't have to waste time doing this. In mid-run, you can be holding down Alt, then you tap Shift, let go of Alt, and tap Shift again in order to throw a landmine down in mid-run, where it's going to look like this. Do not worry about these 2 people that are right here. They will not trip that landmine. Now, do you remember when we go through this door and we have to kill these 2 people? Well, if you've ever sped-run this game more than once, you will know that these 2 are not the only triggermen that spawn through this door. And this is a big run killer because if other triggermen spawn through this door and they aggro us, we are not able to sit down on the bench and wait for Nick after saving him in order for him to get to the door. And if we can't do that, then we end up wasting a lot of time, and usually so much time that it completely kills the run and we have to start over. Well, my potential RNG skip that has not been fully tested, because loading a game and testing it right here does not work. I have done this 20 times in a row and no one else has spawned through this door to confirm the test. We will have to start at the beginning of entering in order to remove any RNG from the triggermen and keep doing it that way. It is a very long test, but this is my theory. Since we do have a Molotov cocktail, after they run through, we can just throw a Molotov cocktail at them, and a lot of the times their bodies will just sit there and burn for quite a while. Now, since this fire does keep burning, and since these triggermen kind of spawn in 1 or 2 at a time, my idea is that this fire that's burning will kill off anybody that is coming through the door enough so that we can get far enough away so that they are not aggroing us. But that is testing for another day, and that is only theory. So now we are going to talk about killing Skinny Malone and his gang. Now, our 1 fragmentation mine is not enough to kill Skinny, but it is enough to kill his gang. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw another one down and then run past him, and that will be enough to kill both Skinny and his gang. Optionally, when you're running down, you could throw 2, but being able to throw them and run at the same time, in my opinion, at least saves you about a few seconds. Alright everyone, you have reached the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you learned something or you liked this video, please leave a follow. If you didn't like this video, feel free to give a thumbs down, but please leave in your comments the reasons why you did not like this video. It will help me for making my next Fallout 4 speedrun survival video. I do want to know what you guys think about this format. I will be putting a lot more work into my survival video than I put into this video. I really wanted to make this video for the community because I do really enjoy the Fallout 4 speedrunning community, and I hope that you do too. Anyway, that is about all. I really hope you guys enjoy your speedruns. Good luck on all of them, and let's look for some new strats and hopefully get some new world records.